a lot of people have been asking me to comment about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. I restrain from making any comments unless I have done thorough research on the matter, and I have not. That will take about 50-60 hours, and if I'm not getting paid, I'm not going to get into that kind of an endeavor. However, one thing that I did want to talk about, one thing which is very, very interesting, which we can use as a takeaway, is the question of, can an Indian husband sue his wife the way Johnny Depp sued Amber Heard? The short answer to that is yes, and the long answer, let's get into it right now. The deal is that I have had conversations with hundreds of husbands who ask about what can they do against their wives when they have been victims of various causes of action by their wives. And it almost always draws a blank when you have conversations with lawyers across the country, and that is a very, very sad situation. Wives are told that you've got all these remedies under the criminal law sections 498A, 406 and everything else under the sun. You've got your remedies under the Domestic Violence Act for interim maintenance, residence orders, and many other things. And you've also got separate maintenance remedies on under either section 125 of the Criminal Procedure Code and a bunch of other things. But what can a man do? And this question keeps coming back and haunting these husbands who feel like they can file nothing against their wives except for either divorce or restitution of conjugal rights, which anyways the Supreme Court at the drop of a hat is very, very happy to transfer from the state of the wife to the state of the husband. And on a lot of occasions, even if there is, say, maybe in the same city, or if the matter is transferred, or even if the matter is not transferred, the wife does not show up in these matters for several years because there is no consequence to that wife, because the moment she receives the notice either of divorce or of restitution of conjugal rights, she immediately goes ahead and files her cases, the aforementioned cases against the husband, where the husband, if he does not appear, he has to appear very, very quickly. If he doesn't, he will face adverse consequences in the form of maybe going to jail, being arrested by the police, or having large sums of maintenance amounts being levied upon him by the court. And even when he does appear before the court, no matter what kind of a defense he has, no matter what kind of evidence he has, the court says, we are only going to look at prima facie, initially, the allegations made by the wife, and if they are satisfactory, and if you are a husband, and if your wife is not able to maintain herself because she is not either earning at all, or if she is earning, it is quite it is far less compared to what you are earning, then we are going to grant interim maintenance. In this kind of a situation, what can the husband do? The answer to that is, just like Johnny Depp sued Amber Heard for the cause of action of defamation, an Indian husband and his family members can sue and also can file criminal complaints. Sue means filing a civil suit. The husband and his family members can file a civil suit. The husband and his family members can file criminal complaints against the wife and her family members. Now, there are just a couple of issues surrounding this, which I also want to talk about when I am talking about with your ability to be able to file a case against your wife. One aspect is that you cannot go to the police with your grievances against your wife. No police officer ever in the history of all of these matters that I've done has ever helped a husband file any case against the wife, unless the husband pays a large amount of bribe to the police officer and the police officer then goes ahead and does this. The solution to that then is that you do not approach the police for the criminal side of your grievances, but you directly approach the courts of law under a private complaint under section 200 of the Criminal Procedure Code. Coming to the civil side of things, the wife, when she seeks maintenance or she seeks compensation under the Domestic Violence Act, she does not need to file any court fees attached to the value of the amount of money that she is demanding. But when a husband goes to court and seeks damages, that is compensation against his wife or any of her family members, or all of them put together, or on some occasions the wife's lover perhaps, in any of these situations, the husband, like any other litigant in any other type of matter across this country, he must pay court fees as well. And court fees is what you pay directly in the court, which is a certain percentage of the amount that you are claiming from the other party. Say, for example, in Delhi, if you are seeking 1 crore rupees as damages, you'll have to pay approximately 1.1 lakh rupees as court fees, which is approximately 1.1% of whatever amount you're claiming. In Haryana and in Uttar Pradesh, the amount is a little is in fact significantly higher, and it's around somewhere between 5 to 8% of whatever amount you're demanding. So, you ask for 1 lakh rupees, you will have to pay something like 5,000, or between 5 to 8,000, depending upon the variations in the amount. The same is for Karnataka. There's a little bit of variation in all the other states as well, but as a general rule of thumb, it's anywhere between 1% and 8% of whatever amount you are demanding. So you have to be careful. You cannot go ahead and say, I want to sue my wife for $50 million, just like Johnny Depp did. There will be a price involved. Apart from the legal fees, you will also have to pay the court fees which is involved. And that is why you have to be careful about what you are demanding, what kind of money you're ready to pay as court fees against the wife, and the fact that even if you pay, say, a large sum of court fees to demand a large sum of money from your wife, what is an amount which will actually be, granted by the court against your wife and in your favor? So keeping all of those things in mind, you need to ask for something that you can, if you actually do win the case, is going to be substantial enough for you to feel that you got justice in the matter. But it should not be so high that you end up paying a large amount of court fees, and then the court in any case still grants maybe 10 or 20% of whatever you have demanded from the wife. But mothers-in-law can also file compensation cases. That is a petition under the Domestic Violence Act against their daughters-in-law. The Supreme Court just a couple of years ago clarified that even the mother-in-law has the power to seek damages, that is compensation, against the daughter-in-law. And that is why a lot of times it is also advisable that the mother-in-law files her DV petition against the wife. And apart from that, one thing that almost everyone who watches this should know is that the general consensus is all over the country, when hundreds of husbands have consulted me, they say that my lawyer said to me that these kind of cases are not possible. And that is the reason why I have assisted these husbands all over the country in drafting and in preparation, and then in guiding and in assisting and in strategizing for the local lawyers the civil suits, the criminal complaints, the DV Act petitions, and on a bunch of occasions, a bunch of other things that can be done depending on a case-to-case basis by the husband and his family members against the wife. And we've had phenomenal results, frankly. On almost, I would say 70% of the cases that the husband has filed his cases against the wife and her family members have come to the negotiation table, and a far better negotiation term has been effected into between the parties. And the rest of the 30% of the cases, frankly, Indian courts of law, if the wife is not ready to settle, the matter gets dragged on for a significant amount of time, and we are, in those court battles trying to get justice for the client. It does not transpire like the trial in Johnny Depp case, where the trial is going on a day-to-day basis. He sued his wife in February of 2019, and now we have a culmination of the trial very soon, and we will be expecting a judgment anytime soon as well. This does not happen so quickly in India. Dates of minimum 2, 3, 4 months are given in almost all cases, be it criminal or civil, across courts across the country. You can do certain things to expedite it, and that might speed up things a little, but overall these things take a lot of time. However, talking about the general landscape of this scenario, where we have done this for dozens and dozens of husbands, where we have advised hundreds of husbands to do this, it has fetched phenomenal results. And something which, if a husband feels that he is the victim of any sort of a crime, any sort of action like, say, defamation, harassment, intimidation, and extortion, these are things for which a husband and his family members also have civil as well as criminal remedies to go to the courts of law and seek justice for themselves. Hope this was of any sort of help for you. Until next time.